Alrighty, so we're back to the website, and this one should hopefully be a short one. We're just going to mess around with some of the layout on Divi and just get the template file loaded up. So what I've done just beforehand is I've gone on the pages just to double check any existing content, just in case anything gets wiped. I've got that. It's not ideal, but I've got it stored on a Google Doc. Just listed out the homepage content, about, contact, and all that sort of stuff, so I can just go in and edit that later. One other thing was the imagery. So there's something that's quite useful to just talk about in regards to that. So previously, well, when the site was being put together, I'm guessing that it would have just been whatever images they had available, they're just going to put up here, which is fine. What you want to do is make sure that they are compressed and also that they are labeled correctly as well. So if you look in here, you'll see the image URL is kind of just a bunch of numbers, and same goes for the title. And Google can kind of read images, they're getting better, but it just helps to actually name these titles and the image names and files and stuff actually something useful. Ideally, value vehicles Taranaki logo would be a good title for this, and then that would also come up in the URL as well. So it all actually shows in the source code when you have your image URLs and titles and alt text and all that sort of stuff. So it's good to have there. Alt text is also what is used for things like screen readers and stuff like that. So if you have someone who can't see and they want to find out what's on the page, that is kind of essentially what is used to describe what an image is. One thing with those also is, from what I've heard, I've not actually used one, but from what I've heard is if you have a screen reader and you've got these alt text labels, if you put a full stop at the end, so let's say like that, if you leave it like that, apparently they keep reading on that, there's no pause, they just read this and then move on to the next one, move on to the next one. But if you put a full stop at the end, it just gives it that break. I don't know for sure if that's right or not, but I've started to just try and do that every now and then. Probably not I just knocked over a glass. Probably not a huge deal, but yeah, it's something to keep in mind. Anyways, so now we'll move into these. So yeah, compressing, you want to make sure that the file size is quite small or fits the right scale of what you're trying to add in. So anything over 1 to 200 kilobytes is going to be just crazy big. You don't need them that big. They're going to increase the page load time and all that sort of thing as well. So get a list of all your images, make sure that they're compressed and optimized correctly. You can use Photoshop. There's a lot of batch compressors that will do it for you. I like Kraken.io. That's quite a good one, just to quickly scale down your images and stuff like that. And yeah, in general, I've got a script that I use for Photoshop as well, so that kind of just does a whole bunch of the batch processing automatically for me, so I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, so that's pretty much images. I'm not going to do that now. I'll do that later. And so we're just going to have to deal with the big images for now. Also, when we import Divi, it's going to import a lot of the default imagery as well, with weird names and weird titles and weird image sizes that have to be done anyway. So be it. Okay. So for Divi, we'll add the logo. I'll just show you in Photoshop quickly. So I've got the logo here. Ideally, it would be good to have a transparent background, so we'll get that organized. In the meantime, I'm just going to crop it out quickly. And I'm not a designer, so don't kill me for doing something wrong. Okay, so we got that, more or less, image, crop, and then we got just removing some of the space that's not needed really. Then export, save for web, and you can pretty much just size it whatever you like. Logos are generally not that big, so the width we could probably get away with something like even just 300 or whatever. Ideally, you want to set it to your default theme size and stuff too. So find out what they are. the image dimensions for your logo and stuff, and yeah, just make sure they're sized to that accordingly, because you want them to be as good as possible. And you see that's made it right down to 5 kilobytes, 5.5 or so. Then you just hit done and save, and you're good to go. Like I said, not going to worry about that right now, but I'll go back and do that just to save time. So we'll go to Divi, theme options, and Divi has the logo option right here. So we just go upload, not upload, sorry, media library. It's already in here. I'll just go for that one for now. It's not going to look ideal, I know. I'll just hit save. And one other thing you can do is set the what's called a favicon. So it's like a little icon here, just so when people are looking in tabs and stuff, they know what site they're viewing. And that's under appearance, customize, and then identity, I think it is, site identity. And we're waiting for it to load. Yeah, so still loading. General settings, site identity, that's what it is. Then we have site icon, which is the favicon and stuff like that. So we'll just go with that, and we just use that same logo for now, and we'll change it up later once we got some resized images. I know the URLs aren't good, so we'll just deal with it for now. And then it's changed. So it's not very recognizable like that. So it would be good to have like a custom one to be able to know what tab you're viewing, but we're just gonna have to deal with that for now. All right, now we'll go to the, probably just start with the homepage. We'll walk through some of the like actual changes for like on-page stuff as we get to that. Like, for example, I wouldn't leave this as home generally, and I'd change up a lot of other things, but we'll just get this up and running first. So we're going to update that, wait for this to finish loading once again, edit with Divi Builder, and then import the layout. There's nothing really too crazy you have to do with Divi. Just gotta, I just figured it might be useful just to run through this. So they have heaps of tutorials built into the platform, so you can tour around and find out what's going on. I'm just going to go start building and then import from library or whatever it is. Yeah, browse layouts, and they actually have a some kind of auto theme that we picked out, and it looked quite good. It was somewhere down here. I don't know if it was that one, maybe. I think it was, so I just took it. I remember it being more red. Yeah, this will be it. Okay. So you can see it looks nice and clean and stuff like that. So we can, it's a good starting point. And like, if you don't have a, like, if you can't like get a web designer to build your site, these are quite good to work on as well. They're not going to break anything. Homepage, we'll just check out which one might be ideal for that. Yeah, that's probably okay. We'll just change out some of that stuff. And yeah, it'll be a good one to just go with this for now. So let's go use this layout. Oh, I should have checked replace existing content. So there is an option if you're replacing this, if you're adding stuff to this, you can set it to replace, or you can set it to add to the page as well. Let's see if it's going to let us load. Okay, I'm going to pause it just because it's going to, oh no, we're almost there. Sweet, that's done, never mind. It should refresh with Yeah, okay. So because I didn't press replace, it's just added it to the bottom of the stuff. So we can just go ahead and either copy or delete, but probably just delete it because I know I've got the content. So this is the new homepage layout. And we can probably change some of the colors and stuff like that as well. So we'll go ahead and do that and make sure this logo is a bit bigger. I'll just change this because we don't need, yeah, we don't need that anyways. And we'll go ahead and edit this content. Homepage, we're probably just going to target the brand name. For the homepage. I'll just use re-add some of that content that was already here. Probably hide some of that stuff for now. Cool, that's good. And then basically what I'm doing is I'm just spacing some of that out a little bit just because mobile devices, you don't want to be reading a huge chunk of text, and it just makes it a little bit easier to read. It's probably not the nicest like thing to land on a mobile. So I would, gosh, this is a bit weird. Wonder if this is actually part of actually responding. I have to check it on my phone, see if it needs any fixing up. I don't know if I'm happy with this layout really. I was going to see if there's another one that's better. So we can always blend them. So go plus, I'll just check it out, won't be long. Even if you use like a service page thing for the homepage. Car dealer. Yeah, see, that's a little bit cleaner, like you got a header and stuff like that we could probably use. I think that might be a better option. Even this landing is a bit cleaner. What was I using for? Oh yeah, this one here for home. Yeah, I'm gonna go, we'll try this one again. We'll just see what this looks like. Come on. I knew I should have paused it. I'll pause it now, just right. Now that's loaded up. Still not like perfect, but it's definitely better than before. At least it's a little bit clearer on the homepage what it is and stuff like that. And I think we'll probably end up replacing this image anyways with maybe something a bit darker, just so that when we get this text added on, especially on mobile, the sky isn't really, I don't know, plain and boring. As you scroll down, you see you got some stuff, which is cool. Probably won't use all this and just delete some of the default crap that's on here. And yeah, it should be good to go. Then we'll just add in some content. So I won't bore you with the whole thing of like this page, this page, this page, this page of like adding on Divi. So I will probably just go ahead and do that. So I want it to be over the shoulder, but I don't want to be like boring as hell, me messing around trying to put together a site. So this is, I'll just do a rough kind of edit on this page, and then the same thing applies to most of the others as well. So yeah. Okay, so we've got H1, value vehicles. and then we'll grab our content. Add a little bit of spacing. Probably don't need all of that spacing. What I actually would probably do is, because there's quite a bit of text, it might be worthwhile just like messing around with this layout so that it's like not grouped together like this in this little chunk here, so that we can get the above the fold, like get this button a bit higher and have the text a bit wider, especially on desktop, and then on mobile it's probably okay. So one thing you always want to be considering is both desktop and mobile, especially when you don't know your market too well and you don't know what which devices most people are preferring to use. So I always tend to try to optimize for both, just make sure that the screen's looking good and all that sort of stuff as well, especially for both devices, yeah. Right, so that is that. I also noticed that on mobile the footer is a bit weird with this theme. Like, I don't know what's going on with it, so I have to play around with that. I won't bore you with that, don't worry. It's not really anything to do with SEO, it's more the design aspect of it. But yeah, it's got everything that we need, so that's cool. Message, we'll just grab their Gmail, wherever that was. Oh, cool, they got a one of those emails, a domain email. So we'll add the email address and we can go new lead forum website. And then Divi has like these custom things like field IDs. So you can just go and find out what the field IDs are for them. So like name, email, and message will just be what these are. I guess we probably want to grab their phone number too. So we'll add a new one. We'll put in phone. With forms, just don't make them like too detailed unless you really have to, because people's attention spans is just so short. And at the end of the day, you want the lead, and you can find out the information later once you contact them, right? And don't use submit as a text. It's just a conversion rate optimization thing. So anything like creative and all that sort of stuff you can use for those. Just mess around with that, but just try not to use submit for your messages, email forms and stuff. Did I get that right? I didn't add the stuff. I was talking too much. Okay, so email, we can then go details below, and then I think it was percentages and whatever the field was. Yep, so 2 and 2, that, and then name. So just to format like what they actually get when the lead comes through. Oops, why did I spell that as phones? Fix that. And message. That should be good enough for now. Let's check out that one. Yep, message field was good. The other thing you can do with these is you can set it to redirect to a thank you page, which we'll do that later on, and just for some more conversion tracking and stuff like that. But for now, that's good. I'm not going to mess around too much with this. Divi, you have a footer, so you can change that, and also the menu too. So I'll just save this for now. When it loads and lets me hit the button. And We will exit. Oh no. WordPress, what are you doing? Okay, usually there's like a thing up the top where you can just exit the Divi builder or WordPress.org. I don't know if that's missing in this. All right. I assume that just going back to our site will be fine. Customer, it's just the .com stuff. Okay, sweet. Go back to somewhere where we want to be. Okay, so in the WordPress options, you can mess around with header and navigation. In Divi, you have the options of header format. So the primary menu, we're not really going to use a slide in, so I think we'll just use default. And then you got the menu options at the top, and then we can go hide elements. We don't need that search box. It could be good to add in the phone number. I don't know if we can do the tap to call thing. Oops. Actually, I think Divi might even do that by default. I don't know, but I don't like the bar up the top anyways. It's a bit annoying. So we'll just add it in custom later on. I don't like that bar at the top anyways. It's all good. Go away, bar. Okay, that'll probably go away when I hit save. Primary menu, we just want to change that logo size. 100, why is that being weird? It'll be because there's like quite a lot of white space around the image. So there's like the logo is like a big square. So it's like, even though it's 100, it's not showing it as 100. So we're gonna have to like crop out the logo and stuff. Yeah, that's okay. And then we'll work out what fonts we want to use and all that sort of stuff. You can change your logo, your colors. So I use this color picker tool from Chrome extension. I'll see if I can get the name of it. Colorzilla. That's free. Just do that, and it's like a color picker, so you can just like click the button. And then Divi's a little bit weird with like finding like color. Might not be able to do it on this. I'll find out on this one. Yeah, see, you can just get the more or less the color, active link color. And then we've got this, and we'll see if it's too weird on white. Might be a bit too weird. So, might be a little bit bumblebee-ish, but we could probably have a black background. I'll try it. Yellow is a very hard color to work with. And plus, I'm not a designer. Yeah, see, that's what I was talking about the square background. So we'll probably have to make that transparent and have like a shadow effect around it, just so we can make the logo stand out on the black, or do something creative around that, which will be fine. And as you scroll, I don't know why these are going black, so that will be the secondary fixed navigation, sorry. So we'll just set these up. If you don't use Divi, a lot of these settings are the same or quite similar. That should be white. So I don't know if that's just going to like refresh when I load it. And blue bar is gone, so that's good. Right, sweet. So it's retained the colors and stuff. That's cool. That will be okay. And then we can do things like mess around with the button colors and stuff like that too later on if we wanted. I don't know if we're going to use these buttons at all. Design button background. And then border. Probably make the text black. So it's easy to read. And yeah, that's nice. That's all right. What you can do a lot of it with Divi is have like global colors and like do things like apply this color to all buttons on the page or site-wide or whatever. And so I'll mess around with that stuff later and just change some colors around. Another thing you can do with Divi is the footer. So that's probably quite important. And then I'll do that and just finish up because this is getting on a bit. Save and exit. This one's probably not too interesting. I'm sorry. I'll make a note that you can probably skip this, but just watch the image part. Just so you know about naming images. Widgets, footer, bottom bar. I usually disable footer credits until I add my own if I wanted to. Might do, and that's how to remove them from there. And we'll disable the social icons and just set this. Yeah, it's like a black thing, so that's fine. That's about it. We'll just remove that and make a custom footer later on. Okay. So we'll exit out of that and just check out the page. Let it load. What's going on? Right. We'll just go back to WP admin. Cool, that's good. I'll just view the site again in here. Sweet, so it's relatively clean layout with no footer this time, which is cool. So what I was saying about the images, if you look in the source code, I guess you go right click, view page source, you will see it's WP, what is it, WP? I forget what it is. Media. WP content, that's right. So these are a lot of the like different types of things in the source code. So if you skip through these, you'll probably see uploads, and that's the text that's displayed for your image URLs. So if you have them named really weird like this, it's like not helping you. So you're better off to name them properly. So you name like, especially if like that's, I'm guessing that's a Favicon, so you can do that and go like value vehicles Taranaki website Favicon, for example, so that it's indicating what it is. You've got some extra keywords in this URL, even though they're not displayed on the site. They're like, I guess like fringe SEO kind of things, where you can just add like your keywords in your image URLs, your image titles, and even in your like classes and IDs and CSS styling and stuff like that. You can do some cool stuff with it later on if you want to go down that crazy road, which I like to mess around with sometimes. Won't cover that too much in this course just because it's not it's a little bit not as important at this stage. So, but you can do it. And same goes for a lot of the image sizes as well. So if you were to download some of these images, you'll probably find that they're quite large in size. I don't believe, is it going to tell me the page size? No. No, it's not. Okay, that's fine. Run it through a page speed test tool and you will see the image sizes and stuff like that. So if you go to like webpagetest.org, which is quite a good one, set it to like Sydney or wherever your closest location is, and then you can run a page speed test and you'll find the image sizes and stuff like that. If you go to your advanced, you can mess around with different settings. They've changed a little bit. You can go whatever device you want, whatever location. So I'd probably go one of these because they're closer data center. And actually probably I think Sydney might be closer to me. And then you can set like your speed. I used to set it to like 3G just because it'd give you a representation of like mobile, but things are starting to pick up now, so I'm starting to change that, but I might just go by the like 3G and run a test. And then you'll see the image size, it tells you what they are and it does all that stuff. So I'll do this, we'll finish up and then move on. So the next step after this training is we'll go into the data tracking. So we'll set up Google Analytics, Search Console, and a lot of the other data stuff that we need to do. And from here, it will be more interesting and more useful. Divi, I just figured in case people were following along, they wanted to use Divi, it's just a rough outline of like some stuff you can do with it. So I figured it might be useful, but it may not be for everyone. This, on the other hand, will be useful. I'll pause it until it's done. Sweet, so the page speed test is done. You don't need to know too much about how to use this stuff right now. All that you would need to know is that it is not as good as it can be. And you'll see that, well, you probably look at this and it looks like a complete mess or gibberish, but what this is like a timeline of how long the page takes to load and all the different elements that are slowing the page down. And you'll see up the top, it gives you like a key as to what's what. And you'll see this one here, images, is the largest one. The next one is fonts. So using a lot of different fonts and weird stuff, which is slowing it down as well. So got some work to do with speed, which I knew that would be the case. But if you click on these, it tells you image size and all that stuff too. So uncompressed, you know, it's just big and weird. So you don't have to have these images at such a large size, and you can definitely resize them to be smaller without losing quality and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's something to pay attention to. Also, Lighthouse is another good test. So you can go to your page, right click, inspect, and then on the, if it's not there, you just click this little arrow and it'll be somewhere in here, but Lighthouse. And you can generate a report as well, and that will tell you a lot of the information. So make sure you do it in a private browser with none of these like extensions, or to give you a warning saying extensions might affect the report. And yeah, so I will go ahead and add the rest of the stuff to the page, to the site, add Divi on and mess around with some of that image stuff, maybe if I have time. And I may skip some of that for now and come back to it and just do the data tracking stuff. I don't know, we'll see. The next video will be data tracking, so yeah. All right, I'll end it here. Any questions or anything, just let me know. It's a little bit all over the place for this video. The next ones will be a bit more actual, like actionable stuff.